Hey everybody, it's Party Elite. Welcome back to the Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader Beta, where we're diving headfirst into the opening acts of this upcoming cRPG. I am extremely excited for this one, folks. I cannot wait to get the final build of the game in my hands so we can kick off a fresh run from start to finish, and that's exactly why this is a mini-series. I don't want to spoil too many story beats before we have that final run, so we just have 2 episodes left in this series, folks, including this episode itself, and with those 2 episodes, we'll continue the massive beta key giveaway. Keep your eyes peeled on screen for this one, folks. I'm going to use the old method here, which means from time to time you'll see keys pop up on screen, and if you drop those keys into your Steam client, you'll get instant access to the beta. For the last batch of keys that I was going to give away with the next video, I might switch things up, just based on feedback I've seen in the comments of the previous few videos. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to approach it, so follow me on Twitter or join our Discord. Links to both of those are in the description down below, because chances are I'm going to run the rest of the giveaway on one of those 2 platforms. Again, I'm not 100% sure just quite yet, so at the beginning of next episode, I'll outline my plan, and I'll make sure to give folks some time so they can, throw their names in the hat before I start pulling names from the hat, and that should level the playing field a bit. But like I said, folks, follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, keep your eyes peeled for the beginning of the next episode at the very least, because by then, I'll figure out exactly how I'm going to do it. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. There are plenty more bridges to cross. First, starting with our characters. Let's go ahead and upgrade everybody because they have leveled up and they've been sitting and waiting for quite some time. We have a few decisions to make here, starting with Bahadur and their upcoming talent. Now, I could go over all of our options, but as you can see, there are a lot of them. So I'm not going to do that right now because we'd be here for 2-3 hours just looking at all these options. If you're interested, I might make a separate video where I go over some of these, but realistically speaking, folks, some of these things have changed so significantly between the alpha and now the beta that chances are whatever we look at now might not apply whenever the final game actually releases. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll, take that into consideration, of course. But yes, I'm not going to read through everything. I've taken a look at our options, and I've made my decisions across the board. I'll let you know why I'm making those decisions, but apart from that, let me know if you want that deep dive video, I suppose. With Bahadur over here, I'm thinking we'll go ahead with, I was tempted to take Epicenter of Slaughter, because whenever the fighter is attacked, they gain 1 stack of Epicenter of Slaughter until the end of combat. At the start of their turn, the fighter gains 1 temporary wound for each stack. That sounds amazing, or that sounds extremely helpful in terms of survivability, but these temporary wounds cannot exceed the fighter's toughness bonus, which means we can only get +4 temporary HP, which honestly can get wiped in just 1 attack. It's good for just hanging in there, but if I'm at that point, then it's probably already too late. So I'm not going to take that. It was my first thought, it was my first pick, but I don't think we'll go with that. So instead, I'm actually thinking we'll go with Desolation. The fighter deals an additional agility bonus of damage to enemies that have no allies in adjacent cells. This will likely be most helpful at the beginning of combat when our enemies are, out of position before they've had a chance to swarm us, but it will cause, 3 extra damage, which doesn't sound like much, but remember, I'm ignoring 4 extra HP because that's worthless, which means 3 extra damage is worthwhile, right? So I'm thinking we go with Desolation. There's a few interesting options. I'm just going to show you really quickly the ones that have the recommends on them because they are pretty interesting. Contempt is cool. Whenever an enemy attacks the fighter's next melee attack against that enemy deals an additional toughness bonus of damage. That's a +4 to damage. Actually, that sounds even more interesting now. God damn, I've looked at this list multiple times, and they're also tempting in different ways. Enrage here. If the fighter has less than 50% wounds, they gain X amount to critical hit chance. You know what? Screw it. Let's go with Contempt. I think it's the most fitting after what just happened. I'm taking story beats into consideration as well. We have great contempt for those that would harm us and our dynasty, so sure, let's go with that. And then we can also choose an additional skill to upgrade. I'm thinking we pump up Carouse a bit further. I'd also not mind Coercion over here, but that's kind of on the low side, isn't it? Might be a good idea to bring that up a little bit. Sure, you know what? Let's go with Coercion. Let's ignore the recommendations. Let's go with Coercion and have it catch up a little bit. But with that done, apply these selections and move on to Argenta. With our Marksman here, we have a few options again. First up, we have a talent to pick. I'm thinking we go with Unpredictable here. Here I won't read all of the recommends because it'll start to become way too much to go through. But Unpredictable means the Marksman has an additional +2 +2 times marksman's agility bonus, which here is a 4, so that's 8 plus 2, 10% critical hit chance. This bonus is doubled against the enemies from which the marksman has cover at the moment of the shot. Like, that's significant. A plus 10% crit chance, a plus 20% crit chance, like, that's huge. So unpredictable it shall be here. Next up, we have a skill to choose as well, and I'm thinking, let's see, unpredictable relies on agility. So let's keep that in mind as we move further and further along. But for the time being, I'm thinking we go ahead and bump up demolition here. Just thinking back on the alpha and how many times we failed our demolition check. So sure, let's go ahead and focus on demolition there. And separately, we also have another skill available from our next level, because we gained 2 ranks, right? So let's go ahead and get awareness over here. Sure, that comes in handy too. I should point out, by the way, that we are getting free upgrades, or I should say predetermined upgrades, as we move down this circle as well. I'll quickly summarize that. If I apply these, I should be able to point out, let's see, this is unpredictable demolition, this is military excellence, and this is awareness. So we picked the ones in green, the ones in white are predetermined. Military excellence means the marksman gains the ability to make a number of free attacks equal to their weapon's rate of fire, a minimum of 2, with the cheapest weapon's attack ability. Until the end of the turn, the first attack against a new enemy automatically deals a critical hit. Also, the marksman immediately reloads their current weapon. This is the momentum-based ability of Argenta. If we go back really quickly to Bahardur, you'll see that here as well we gain some predetermined upgrades. We've got Advance, which increases the movement points of the fighter by 4, and we got our Daring Breach heroic ability as well, which allows us to close gaps very easily. With Idira, if we take a look at the Adept, you'll see we get a predetermined upgrade here as well. But first, let's pick our skill. I'm thinking we're not going to do tech use. Let's go with... kind of tempted to do Lore Warp, just because this is our unsanctioned Psyker. They say it straight up over here. She is unsanctioned. I really don't trust her. But no, you know what? Let's go with Lore of the Warp. I think that makes sense. Otherwise, let's choose a talent as well. I'm thinking Fresh Target is quite nice. When the Adept attacks an enemy with 100% wounds, that enemy suffers an additional +10, +2 times Adept's perception bonus in percentage of damage. So that's 2 times Adept's perception is 4. That's 8. That 18% extra damage to a fresh target. So that's a tempting pick, but so too is Assisted Study. Every ally in study enemy's area of effect adds additional clue to the distribution. Like, that doesn't sound too bad either. I'm going to go with Fresh Target, though. That sounds meatier and more fitting for somebody who's currently, grieving the loss and is able to kill people. So Fresh Target, I think it shall be. And apart from that, we have another skill here, and Dismantling Attack is, I believe, our heroic ability with Idira. I don't think this is what we had in the alpha, though. The Adept immediately inflicts 1 stack of clue on all enemies in combat. The Adept makes a free attack against a target, it always hits, and until the end of combat, the target gains a negative 30% penalty to dodge and a negative 30% penalty to armor. That is kind of powerful. I like the sound of that. But as far as our skill here is concerned, we could take another step of Lore Warp as well. It feels so useless. Rarely does do the lore things have actual value beyond learning lore. At least based on my alpha experience. It could be different now. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's double down. So we've got our warp lore going from 30 to 50 because of the 2 upgrades plus 10 apiece. Dismantling Attack and Fresh Target sounds good to me. And finally, Abelard. Also a fighter, so similar upgrade path as Bahardur himself. Here I want to get Enrage, I think, because if the fighter has less than 50% wounds, they gain, extra crit chance. Toughness here is pretty good, so this is close to 18%. Well, it is 18%. It's close to 20%, I was going to say. And it makes sense because Abelard was dropped at the end of the previous episode, so I can kind of see this, lining up like that. So sure, Enrage it shall be. And then we have the Daring Breach heroic act as well available to us, and an additional skill. Here, let's go with Athletics, again, lining up with the alpha build of Abelard here. With that all picked and done, we can apply these selections, and we can finally move on. So these guys are all level 4 now, halfway actually to level 5, that'll be nice. And otherwise, let's take a look at the situation in this system we're at. Hopefully I'm able to dive right into the action. Yes, I am. Coronis Expanse map. We are in Winterscale territory. This is a rival, and so there might be trouble everywhere. We might also be able to engage in ship combat. I would love to show that off because it has been changed, as has the user interface. Folks, if you saw the alpha playthrough on the channel, this will all look very unfamiliar. We now have our resources listed across the top, so you're always aware of exactly what your empire has access to and what you may or may not need more of. I'm sure that the way colony management actually works is going to be quite different as well, but we can't see it until we have contact with some of our colonies. We can also take a quick look at our option here. This is our void ship management, which wasn't available in the alpha, which is why we weren't able to get very essential upgrades made, but now the options are there. Obviously, we... ooh. Do I want to start investing in this stuff already? No, let's not. Let's not get distracted over here. We've been distracted enough with other upgrades. We should, though, get this rank spent in case we do get into combat here. So your flagship will upgrade similar to your characters. You'll have access to a variety of skills and abilities, and I believe there are some specials too. Lots to do. We'll see how far we can get. So, I mean, this is completely revamped. This is completely different from what it used to be, I guess. Let's start with what? Torpedo control is always nice for that extra bit of distance. Allows to control the nearest torpedo salvo launched in another turn to move it for 5 movement points. That's always very helpful. And otherwise, we could also get new heading. When moving, the starship may perform its next turn through 90 degrees instead of the usual 45. Okay. Warp wave has been very helpful at times. Flows of immaterial make the enemy ship immediately turn for 45 or 90 degrees, depending on the ship's maneuverability. When the enemy ship's hull is damaged, this abrupt turn deals damage equal to... Oh, excuse me. That's new. It didn't used to cause damage. Warp Wave is a lot more helpful now, and that makes sense. Okay. And there's Arc Augury as well. Next starship shot gains +2 extra range. Oh boy, that has definitely come in handy at times. Let's go with Warp Wave. Just again, considering the story and what just happened to our ship, what we've just been through. Over to our summary, apply those selections, and there's our ship upgrade happening, and we can take a look at our posts as well. Currently unavailable. Oh, interesting. This must be a placeholder screen because we can see some characters that we haven't yet met, but these are the various roles that gain access to various skills when you're actually in combat. Very well. I'm glad I could showcase this screen because it simply didn't exist during the alpha, and it is something I might want to deep dive into in a separate video. We looked at colony management already. There's, of course, the cargo manager. This looks fairly familiar. It's pretty much the same as it used to be previously. I am curious about acquiring additional ships, though. And what else have we got going on over here? Sorry for this slight digression. I hope you don't mind. We are, after all, showcasing the game, so I think it makes sense to take a look at some of the new bits and pieces, but let me know if you feel differently. That's pretty much everything, though. We've seen all of these screens, including the newly added ones. Let's turn our attention now to where to go next. So Rycad Minoris, I believe, is where the starport's located. There's URAC 5, where... What are we doing there? Got a couple of quests going on over here. So looking for trouble, land on Rycad Minoris. I believe this is us trying to seek out a new navigator. Our sororitas sister here has a personal request. Need to speak with her as soon as the opportunity arises. That can wait. New blood. Fair enough. For this, we have to go to Rycad Minoris as well. Machine Spirit Keeper. They'll be found somewhere in the system. And the navigator, yeah, with the Navis Nobilite Station. Fair enough. And by the right of blood is our bigger quest in general. There are no rumors for the time being, and there are no orders to fulfill for the time being either. So Rycad Minoris is where we need to go, which means, of course, we're going to start with Rycad Majoris, investigate the situation here, investigate these question marks, URAC 5, and then Rycad Minoris finally. Is there anything worth doing here? No resources? We can't, like, scan it or anything? I guess we shouldn't. It's not our territory. In fact, it's enemy territory. Let's head on over to... Scan is required. Okay, interesting. Let's pop on over. So we got to go back to the center and then come back down over here. This takes us back to the bridge. This takes us to void ship management. Okay, fair enough. What's the deal down over here? Can I scan you? Yes, I can. I like this upgrade. That looks nice. Not explored. Rycad Philia, the prison planetoid. Wow, the UI upgrade is huge, man. I know I've said it a few times, But the UI upgrade is absolutely huge. Holy crap. Yes, this is our group. Let's dive on in and see what's going on, I guess. Of course, immediately distracted by non-story elements. Again, trying to keep spoilers to a minimum, but also very curious about how these things look and feel and what they've changed, you know, in terms of the aesthetics and the mechanics as well. Like, that looks improved for sure. And we didn't get immediately ambushed, which is nice as well. Anything to pick up over here? Indeed there is. What do you got for me? Bunch of cargo, sounds good. Repentance in prison is but a weak shadow of a true transformation of the soul. Only in battle, by abjuring the flesh and cloaking the soul in flame, and one earn absolution. Okay there, buddy. No surprise, this is 40k after all. What's going on over here? Awareness check succeeded. Abelard spots a trap. Up over here. Why do we have... What's going on over here? And what's this pilot got to say? Affirmative, escort. Everything is calm on my end. Vicari out. Oh, crap. What's going on? The young woman stares at you, adjusting her uniform nervously. Your... lordship? 1,000 pardons if I addressed you improperly. Have you come on behalf of Governor Medina? Or are you here on other business? If it's the latter, you ought to know that there's been a riot at the local prison. It's quite dangerous here. Abelard, teach this riffraff the proper way of addressing a sovereign. I don't think that's necessary. Tell me about this planetoid, what happened here. I have no time for long-winded talks. Brief me on the situation ahead, and do be concise, or I'm looking for a man by the name of Heinrich van Kallox. He is here, perhaps? Ah, yes, of course, our inquisitorial agent. I don't think I need to do all this nonsense, tell this riffraff this, that, and the other thing. What happened here? Give me a situational report. I'm a commissar, military background, sit rep makes sense. There's been a prison riot on the planetoid. Sadly, it's being led by the prison warden himself, the Honorable Anathagon Casteglia. He has allied himself with a rabble that he himself was supposed to watch, and declared Rycad Philia to be independent of the authority of the system's lawful governor. I came here as a shuttle pilot alongside the Honorable Evane Winterscale, son of Caligos Winterscale, rogue trader, vanquisher of Xenos, forever triumphant over the enemies of humanity. She details, enunciating every word in her overlord's title. Young Lord Winterscale wished to speak to the warden personally. The Honorable Lord means to put an end to this lawless treason. He and his escort left to meet with the insurgents, while I was ordered to wait their return. This cannot have gone well. Evane, Abelard mutters, stroking his beard. One of his distant younger offspring, yes. That's as much as I know about him, which means he hasn't distinguished himself in any meaningful way. Very well, we have some new options here. Why would young Winterscale have felt the need to parley with the dissidents? Yeah, I'm curious. The warden himself is spearheading the riot. Yeah, that is a curiosity. I'm looking for a man by the name of Heinrich. Is there anything else I should be apprised of? All right. So, hang on a second. Why would young Winterscale have felt the need to parley with the dissidents? She sighs quietly. It's a personal matter. Master Casteglia, the seditious warden, is Lord Evane's childhood friend. When my lord heard of the riot, the news saddened him greatly, and so he rushed here without delay, in hopes of bringing his old friend to his senses, no doubt. The first Winterscale in my memory who prefers to talk first rather than shoot and slash. She smiles slightly. You're quite right. Young Lord Winterscale is not his father's shadow. If he is determined to save his friend, he will try to do so, no matter what obstacles get in his way. Sounds like signing up for death there. Now, the warden himself is spearheading the riot. What's that about? Yes, she bites her lip. No one expected this. Master Casteglia is a nobleman from a respected governor house and a vassal to House Winterscale. All of a sudden, he proclaimed that Rycad Philia was now his personal domain, that the prisoners were his subjects, and that he would never bow to anyone again. It's pure heresy. And I take it they're looking forward to a diet of sand and gravel? What kind of madman would start a revolt on a barren rock? For real. On which note, tell me about this planetoid. The only settlement on Rycad Philia is a penal colony. The prisoners work in the mines and the domed quarries. They mine sulfur, ceram dust, and sand, which gets melted down. A rather nondescript place. Or So it was prior to current events. Is there anything else I should be apprised of before I set out? Some of the rebels have holed up in the barracks. I don't know how many, but given this is the only way through to where the negotiations are taking place, I would expect heavy resistance. Please take caution, your lordship. Lord Winterscale's guards mined the entrance so that the rebel couldn't get to the shuttle. Ah, that's why there's the trap. Gotcha, okay. Apart from all this, I'm looking for a man by the name of Heinrich van Kalox. Is here, perhaps? Unless it's one of the prisoners or guards, then it seems unlikely. There are no shuttles in working order other than yours and mine. There's nothing else anyone could have used to reach this place. Very well. I have no more questions. You may excuse yourself, pilot. The woman freezes for a moment before asking hesitantly. Your lordship, if I may have a minute of your time, I wouldn't ever have dared to trouble you with a personal matter, but the situation... In any case, have you been to the capital of Rycad Minoris yet? I wanted to ask if you saw a man there, a communications officer by the name of Jaspar. Remain disdainfully silent, Jesus. I am a rogue trader, not a messenger boy. I have more pressing matters at hand than indulging a junior officer's curiosity. This is so snarky. I mean, I don't know anything about this, but what is your relationship to this man? We are engaged, your lordship, she declares somewhat bashfully. See, I'm a commissar with a heart, right? At least somewhat. So I understand. I recently lost, a quote-unquote loved one in a different sense of love. I have not yet been to Rycad Minoris, and know nothing of this officer's fate. To be clear, by the way, when I say I recently lost a loved one, I mean in-game. I don't want people to misunderstand me. But in-game, we just lost our rogue trader, our lord, right? So that's what I meant. The pilot says, that's a shame. May the Emperor keep that fool from harm. Thank you for your time, your lordship. I don't dare delay you any further. Good luck to you, your lordship. I will contact Lord Yvain's party over Vox and inform them of your coming. No, don't do that. But I can't tell her not to, because as far as she's concerned, we're on the same side of the conversation. The reality is that I don't think Yvain's here to stop this. I think Yvain's here to join it. I think he wants to usurp his father. I'm making that conclusion based off of absolutely nothing, but it's the vibe I'm getting. Let's see if I'm right. Sometimes it suits the Imperium's functionaries to have a criminal spend the rest of his days toiling in a pit, working for the good of the righteous until his last breath. There's just Abelard retorting to Argenta's statement. But let's move up, and I'm glad I upgraded demolition, I suppose. Must I disarm you? Can you not disarm this for me? Go for it. Shouldn't hurt me even if we fail, but we succeeded. Great. What do we have over here? This guard post has been vacant for a long time. There's a layer of dust on every surface. Very well. Moving on. I imagine a battle's going to kick off right away. Hopefully we won't get ambushed, though. Anything else to explore? We could build a bridge. What? We can just build a bridge out of nothing? And then there's a lock to pick. Well, that's compelling. Just checking if there's anything else back over here. Nope, didn't miss anything. Sure, let's try and build a bridge and see what awaits us over there. Avoiding what feels like a certain trap. Area under observation, unsanctioned access. I mean, this has got to be the barracks, right? Hey, let's try it. If we can from this side. I don't think so. That'd be ridiculous. No, okay. Didn't think so. Through this door we go. To the barracks. Indeed it is. Let's go. So far, so good. What am I looking at here? Where's the enemy? We know they're holed up here. Don't want to be taken by surprise. If anything, I'd like to take them by surprise. I also want to be careful not to trigger any of these traps. Hey, your holiness. How are you doing? What? I was born to wage war against darkness. I'm always doing wonderfully when danger is near. I see. Okay, she calls Argenta your holiness. Okay. You keep that up, Idira. The remains of a meal, one far too lavish for even a hive world, let alone a prison colony. Very well. We've gotten into the stockpiles. A long string of names extends beneath the heading. Top quarry workers of the cycle. Jesus, that's morbid. That's morbid. This door will not open. Fair enough. No access there. That's the guard post, I suppose. Can I sneak past? Will they go in single file? I do not know, so I'm going to play this carefully here. Bring you past. Another trap up there. That's not what I meant to do. Bring you up. Let's go. We should be able to dodge these easily enough. Abelard, let's get you through. Pathfinding seems better now than it did with the alpha, so that's good. Almost triggered it there, though. And I do believe Argenta is our demolitions expert. Let's take a quick look at our character screens. Again, if we just select everybody and right-click or left-click, it'll pick the right person, but I don't want Pathfinding to screw us here. Demolition, where you at? 60, 40, 40, 35. Argenta it shall be. Go ahead and deal with that, please. Success, good stuff. Gain some experience, too. Again, the experience is for everybody. It's not tracked individually. What do we have over here? Scraps of typical prison food. Repulsive to the senses. Alright, what do we have over here? Venerable Optimates, the best among us. The list is faded, and the names are barely legible. Very well. Go ahead and disarm this. Oh, failed that time, and we took some damage. Fails to disarm the trap and accidentally triggers it. Weird that it did damage to us. Anyway, it's fine. What do we have here, though? Fresh wound. An injury newly received from a trap or damage that is more than 50% of total wounds amount from a single attack. If not healed by a medikit, it will turn into an old injury. Too many injuries reduce resolve and cause trauma. Now it's an old wound. Wasn't healed in time. Can be healed by a medikit, but will require an additional Medicaid skill check. Gotcha. Alright. Interesting to see how quickly that time goes by. Pick up some goods over here. Ooh, it's a diary of Atishan the prisoner. Sure. Take a look at it. What do you got for me? Grox shit. Why me? Why? I missed my tithe payment 12 years ago. 12 years! The inspector's Rycad lost somewhere in the bowels of the planetary administratum and was lying there this whole time, but they sure did remember to tack on the fines every month. By the time they found the blasted paper and finally informed me, the total sum was so obscene it would take 3 generations of my descendants, if I had any, to pay it off. My fate was sealed. Trial, sentence, prison. All because of some daft rotter who shoved my paper in the wrong box. To be fair, I think I got off pretty easy. My bed in the barracks is about as hard as that slab of rockcrete I got at home. Working in the quarry isn't much tougher than my old job, and the rules... Void take me. That old sod that governs Rycad Minoris is a bloody sadist by comparison. It's a strange old place. I haven't been beaten once yet. The guards bark orders from sunup to sundown, but they never hit us. They also got this kind of inner circle of special chosen prisoners. The Optimatum, they call it. If you can get in, Emperor as my witness, you get an actual day off. They let you out of your cell and into the yard with the big barracks. And I tell you what, they let you rest there and feed you better than whatever swill they're giving us in the commons. They told me it's to improve our motivation and all that, to foster a stronger desire to reform and become a worthy servant of the Imperium once more. But I know it for what it is. Just a club for the Warden's favorites. The same story as everywhere else. Suck up to those in power, you get some swanky perks. They say the whole thing was the Warden's idea. A funny man, our Warden. He looks more noble than nobility itself. Tall, groomed, teeth even, eyes burning, boots so polished you can see yourself when you move to lick 'em. But that nutter doesn't much want people licking his boots. He walks around, looking like he's deep in thought, all right, with only a couple of guards at his side, and sometimes, if you can believe it, talks to prisoners. "What's your name?" he asks them all quiet like. "Why were you condemned? Do you feel remorse?" He never even yells at no one, never orders to have them flogged. Instead, he divvies rewards out to the special ones, keeps telling us things like how we should strive to make society believe in us again. Uh-huh, whatever you say, Master Warden. Starting tomorrow, I'll be trying to join them Optimates of yours. I'm stuck in here till the day I die, and that means no society for me. But with the Emperor's help, I might just join the rank of the local elite. You know, I love these little things. So well written, and so informative of what's been going on. This is some interesting lore over here. What has been going on? This is extremely strange by the Imperium standards. Very, very light-hearted and pleasant in a grimdark future. Fair enough. But that's how you get people enamored with you, right? You treat them nicely, even when you have them in this horrible position, and all of a sudden they serve you. Here we go. I've been ambushed, fair enough. I don't think we could have got the surprise there. That's okay. No option here but to start the battle. I guess there would have been the opportunity to move separately, but truth be told, I would have probably ended up out of position. Let's begin. Bahador moves first. We now have access to our daring breaches, And I do believe attacking an isolated enemy is helpful to us. I've already forgotten which of the picks we actually went with. My apologies. We went with Contempt. Okay, different. So when we get attacked, we get the toughness bonus of damage out next time around. That's what it is. I mean, these guys are extremely weak, so this isn't going to be trouble. This nimble prisoner is maybe a bit more scary, but not all that much. Let's push up to... where? Can't hit 2 people, unfortunately. All right, let's go ahead and charge up here, and then we can use our burst to try and hit both of these guys. Let's go. Bardoor goes in. Gets a good hit. Turns around with a burst. Hopefully... You know what? Let's fire up this way, because down here, I don't know my chances. Up here seems a little bit better to actually hit both of them. Go for it. Damn it. I was really hoping I get both of them. And obviously when I say I don't know my chances, I don't mean that literally. The game literally tells you your chances, but you know what I mean. Down over here, Idira is up next. These guys are clumped nicely together, so why don't we creep up to here and use our lightning arc to hit, hopefully, both of them. Go for it. Beautiful, all 3 of them, in fact. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, good stuff. Idira, is that your turn? I believe it is. These guys should not be able to come through here. They'll have to go all the way around, so we have some time. And they're weak anyway, so I'm not too concerned about them. Let's go with... we can't do Psychic Shriek, only 1 attack per turn, unless otherwise specified. We could study enemies, I suppose. Pop that over here, sure. Why not? Got a couple of those tokens in there. And that turn, these guys are going to move up. Ooh. That's actually a guard. They're working together, no surprise there. Can I... if I get up to here with shot on the run... okay, let's... if I use shot on the run, I can get up to here. And it looks like I can hit you and you. Alright, that sounds good. Can I get cover? Try to use that unpredictability. No such luck. If I come up to here... oh, I can see you and you? Really? Stick my neck out, probably. Fair enough. Go for it. Pop shot here. Hope for the best. Oh, that worked out alright. And then burst fire to try and hit both these guys. Other option is to try and hit down over here. At most, hitting both of them. So you know what? Let's do this instead. Slightly lower hit chances, but I'll take it. Fire away. Oh, nice. This guy dodged. That's impressive. That's impressive. But we're good. And Argenta's turn. This guy's going to move next. Into melee. That can barely... yeah. Not going to do much damage. Fortitude resistance check failed. What do we got going on over there for Argenta? Bleeding. And that old wound. Fair enough. Abelard, what to do with you? I can creep you up to here. Then we can charge in. We can burst fire down there. That sounds good to me. If I can see you to actually charge at you. Oh, no angle there. What about from here? There we go. Sure. Go for it. Bro, what? Did I not? Whatever. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. Maybe I didn't see that right. Maybe that was on me. But I could have sworn I had him highlighted with my cursor. Whatever. It's fine. Not the end of the world. You don't want to get distracted by a flub that isn't going to cost us all that much, really. These guys are nicely clumped up. A little bit of burst fire should do the trick. Bahadur is up next. I suppose I could come up here and charge. Make sure we're hitting the right person here. And then burst fire to take care of these guys. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Burst fire from Argenta could do a lot. I don't want to get in the way of that. That's also a thing. Alright, let's try this instead. Creep you up to there. Go ahead and charge. Oh, this is what might have happened, is we didn't actually have this guy selected because we couldn't actually get to him. Can I get to him from up here? No. I come up there. Still no. And this is definitely a clean line over there. I don't understand. This is obviously a bug. I don't know what it is, but... alright, here, let's come up to there. What a pain. What a pain. Alright, fine. Can I charge Buddy here? No. Gotta charge that guy. Alright, go for it. I was hoping to get Argenta to burst over here, but whatever. Making a mountain out of a molehill here. Go ahead and burst down over here. Get the job done, hopefully. Beautiful. And end the turn there. Idira, you're up. Go ahead and pop your lightning arc. Psychic Shriek does how much? 4 to 9 versus 4 to 7. Now let's try it. Psychic Shriek, let's go. Bit of damage, good visual. Curious about if Veil Thickness has actually been integrated now, or if it's still not actually working. Either way, Argenta's up, move you up to there. You shot on the run, get a single shot, and then we'll burst if we need to. Right up to there, single shot, let's go. 31% hit chance, pretty bad. But, beauty. Like I said, making a mountain out of a molehill. Easy victory there. What do we got going on here? Bare beds made from metal sheets swing back and forth on rusted chains. Whoever is forced to sleep on them, it would not take much for them to fall. Very well. Some loot to pick up for sure. What do we got here? Some chainmail. That's actually not terrible. Like, our flak chestplate is 25% armor. The chainmail is 30%. We got some flak chestplate here as well. A bunch of knives. 10 to 12 damage. That is more than I would expect. Plus 10 to parry as well. Minus 10 to... They count as swords, basically. I don't think I need them, though. Serrated knife. Ooh. Knife has a chance to apply bleeding effect. Okay, I'll definitely take that. So, all to cargo. We'll take the serrated knife in case somebody wants it. Stub revolver does 7 to 11 damage. Rate of fire of 2. Might be worthwhile for Abelard. Sure. And let's take the grenade for sure. Okay. Accept that. Take a look at our inventory really quickly. Let's get a frag grenade onto Argenta maybe, just so we spread them out. And otherwise, this las pistol could be replaced with the stub revolver, I think. A bit more damage, same rate of fire, slightly higher range, slightly less max ammo, but I think that's fine. Sure. Pop that on there. Good stuff. You have a flak vest. Everyone's got armor, right? You've got an armored body glove. That's fine. You've got a mesh chest plate, sorry. Yeah, we're fine then. We're fine. What do we got up over here? Cages. These cages have been placed in plain view of the beds. Inside are traces of blood and excrement. Disgusting. Come on. What's this, another diary? Yes. Take a look. Part 2. Ha! I swear, the Emperor hasn't forsaken me. Guess who just came down the shuttle gangway among the fresh batch of prisoners? Clensin. Damn me to all the hells, Philia. A former administratum clerk. No. He is the clerk. The very same scum who lost the writ about the missing payment. He's the reason I'm in this hole. Don't know what they threw him in for, but I've never felt better in my life. He's not just behind the same bars as me. He's fresh meat, and I'm a venerable optimist, respected by every mug in the colony. The warden just came up with a new improvement. From now on, anyone who underperforms, misbehaves, or causes trouble any other way is to be punished by the community, specifically by the local best and brightest. Yours truly, the Optimists. The last 2 sods who failed to meet the quota were stripped naked, whipped, and thrown into cages in the big barracks. That's where they have to eat, sleep, and shit now with everyone watching. I thought to myself then, that isn't right. They've taken these punishments too far, but now... Just you wait, you whore son. I'll find something to get you for. Those cages are singing your name. Oh my god, power corrupts. Man, I love how quickly between these 2 journal entries you can see exactly where this is going. And no surprise there, but it's nicely done nonetheless. Geez, kudos to the devs, man. The writers have done very nicely. The beds here are bolted to the floor. Some have thin, torn bed sheets and even tattered pillows. So this is where the preferred sleep, I suppose, and the hanging beds are for the less fortunate. Either way, loving the little glimpse into something we don't often get to see in 40K, rule books and stuff. Even the tabletop ones. How can you trust your visions, Adira? Aren't you afraid that the future you see is but the whispers of the archenemy? Fortunately, these speech bubbles stay on for so long before they move on, but I do want to see what Adira says in response here. I am quite curious about our characters and stuff, and Adira says, I don't think that's the question you wanted to ask. What you wanted to ask was, how can others bring themselves to trust a despicable psyker like me? Face it, sister. Not everybody's as pig-headed as you are. Okay, figured as much. I mean, to be fair, Adira is unsanctioned, so I kind of don't trust her either. But let's move on. Try and use our tech use over here. Again, -10 because it's a harder check. And unfortunately, no luck. We can try again and again, once with each party member. But ultimately, I think we're going to have to use one of our multi-keys unless we get extremely lucky over here. Nope. Can we go again? With who? Oh, our lowest team member can... No, I think then it goes in reverse order or something. Either way, Idira got through. This is one thing about checks, is like, you have to limit how often you can do them. This is a tabletop thing, right? Like, if every player can keep doing checks over and over and over and over again, eventually they're going to succeed unless there's a time pressure that might, get in their way. There's no time pressure here, right, whatsoever. So that check doesn't really need to exist. That door doesn't need to be locked. For a cRPG, maybe it's a little different because maybe I would have rushed to use one of my pieces of equipment, but I could have sat here for a very long time until everybody zeroed out. And what's the fun in that? What's the value in that, right? Just a thought, just a thought. We'd love to hear your thoughts as well in the comments. Again, it is different running around a table, like running a game around a table versus a cRPG, obviously, but that's just my 2 cents. Let's take a look at the goods and stuff over here and what's going on. Oh, hello. I see what's going on. You are a prison guard key. I will absolutely take you, thank you. What do we have here? Oh, this is disgusting. Severed human body parts. Yeah, I'd say. Enough to get me demonetized. Oh my god, look at the gore. Jesus Christ. Is that a child? The chopped up slabs of flesh have been thoroughly washed of any blood. No, okay. It's just like chunks. Ew. What the hell, man? Christ. One more diary entry. One more diary entry. What do you got for me here, buddy? Ati Shan, the prisoner. I'm scared. I should have known all that charity from the warden was going to bring nothing but trouble. No noble, no matter how barmy, would pull anything of the sort, but that man... It started with the little things. The warden would come by to talk, as he did. Except, he used to ask us questions before, and now he was mostly gushing sermons. Some gibberish about a path to purgation, the sanctity of sacrifice, seeing with blinded eyes. I listened and nodded. Yes, Master Warden, of course, Master Warden. He could say whatever rubbish he wanted as long as some tasty optimate meals kept coming. I thought everyone else was doing the same, nodding just to please the big man. I was wrong. After that, people in the barracks started yapping on about purgation and blindness too. Apparently us optimates were no longer just the warden's favorites. We were, Emperor forgive me, prophets of some kind who were meant to save the rest of this sorry lot. Or awaken, or let him see. Some rubbish along those lines. People were now supposed to make sacrifices to the optimates. Yesterday, the sap who slept in the bed under me in my first year here cut off his own damn ear and crawled on his knees toward me. He handed me the ear and begged me not to forsake him when the hour came. What the throne am I supposed to do with his ear now? Why does everyone, all of them, stare at me all the time? The warden said the time was nigh, that fate had truly great things in store for the optimates. I went to look how my good friend Clenson was doing. He hadn't spoken for 3 months ever since I ordered to have all his upper teeth ripped out. He spoke today. He looked straight at me and said, "Dead man." I kept hitting him until it hurt me. Now my fist and feet are bruised to all the hells. Half the barracks stood there and watched. And prayed. I'm scared. Jesus Christ, that's amazing. That is some good stuff. That is some good stuff. And we're just within the first couple of hours, folks. I mean, goddamn, I cannot wait for the full build. I cannot wait to see more of these side plots and stuff. It's just so brilliant. Okay. Sorry. I like these kinds of things. I like conversations about descent to madness, power corrupts, how cults form, these kinds of, this kind of stuff just really fascinates me, so I'm a little enamored. Let's take a look at this sigil here. A mysterious image. Idira, despite your upgrades, you failed so very miserably. Can somebody else succeed this check? No. See, that's what it needs to be like. You get one shot, one opportunity, and if you fail it, it's gone. Or you have to use an item. That's what should have happened here. You get one shot at picking the lock. If you fail it, we had to use an item. Obviously, the game can't lock us out of this area, I think, which is why it couldn't do that. Anyway, let's explore this spot up over here. Jesus, goddamn Christ, man. What's going on over here? This is some pretty visceral imagery. Judging by the number of horrid morsels, dozens of victims were slain here. Good stuff. Well, you know what I mean. And we can come down over here as well. Sure. Before we move along. Tech use, let's go. Tech use, let's go. Beauty. Oh no. Oh no. My brethren, the dawn is nigh. The Optimates will guide us into a new existence. Yes, yes, dear brethren. Have a taste of my steel. Oh, how I've longed for this, my dear brethren. Ah, that's in quotes there. Oh, no. Oh, hello. Thank the throne. Normal-looking faces. We thought we were going to die here with these nutters. The old man with a gap-toothed smile drops his weapon and holds out his hands in a placating gesture. Please don't shoot us, your nobleness. Let us speak a word. Give me a reason not to execute you on the spot. Now, having read everything I've read, I think my character would be like, there is heresy afoot. If these prisoners kill the heretics, they're one step closer to holiness. Now, obviously they've still sinned, and I'm probably going to execute them anyway, but let me hear them. Let me hear them out. Here's the deal. We're honest, quiet inmates. We didn't want to riot, but, well, sitting it out wasn't really an option either. The warden's lapdogs made short work of those who refused to join in the festivities. So we had to, play along. But that's all it was, play. We never meant no offense to Governor Medine, nor to the lawful authority of House Winterscale. Give us a chance, eh? We just want to wait until everything blows over and we can go back to our cells and quietly do the rest of our time. A repentant, honest heretic. How novel. Judging by Abelard's tone, the old man's ingratiating monologue fails to make even the faintest impression. Tell me more about the warden and the riot. Ah, why soil your tongue talking about that heretic? But if you insist, here's how it is. The warden of this here prison, the Honorable Master Casteglia, was a crackpot from the start. The previous warden ran things the proper way. Prayer, 1 meal a day, work, a punch in the chompers from the guards, work again. But the new one, do you know what his first decree was? He introduced lunches and dinners. By the 9 devils, that's 3 meals a day. The man was obviously stark raving mad. Things only went downhill from there. The guards quit it with the teeth punching. The warden forbade them. Instead, the overseers started counting which prisoners were digging up more things in the quarry, or swinging their pickaxes harder or whatnot, and then, would you believe it, they put together a list of best workers. And if someone on that list also showed good behavior, that's when they'd get promoted to an optimate. That's the upper crust among us jailbirds. Or, that's how it was at first. Then the warden decided it's the optimates, not the guards, who should be in charge of punishments. And that it wasn't the overseer's job to watch the prisoners work. It was the optimates. Well, let me tell you, that's when these goody two-shoes really started to shine. The guards aren't even in the same league as our dear fellows, the optimates. In the old days, we had maybe 5 or 10 stiffs kicking it a week. And now? Well, now we were lucky if it was half 100. And that wasn't even the end of it. Warden Casteglia moved out of his chambers to live right in the quarry, under the dome. And I think something in his new home really scrambled his brain. He began spouting the wildest things, like the optimates are saints who will behold the truth, and he started taking them to the quarry. Not all of them returned. The ones who did, you wouldn't recognize them. More beast than man. They were butchering people left and right. Even guards and overseers. The warden himself had armed them. And that's the whole sob story. But I knew it from the moment he let us have dinners. Oh, this won't end well. Idira nods knowingly. The old codger's right. Whenever nobles start giving handouts to commoners, something always goes wrong. She notices your look and catches herself. I mean that with all due respect, your lordship. No offense intended. I do want to say, I like the game's sense of humor as well. This stuff's my vibe. Also, this is just funny. It's funny because it's true. If I spare you, what do I gain from it? Now, how can lowly jailbirds hope to thank your noble self? I have an inkling. You see, us here, we're, how should I put this? A different kind of prisoners from the rest in this place. They're all petty thieves from Rycad and Norris, debtors, gutter snipes. They're no one serious. Now we, your nobleness, are cut from a different cloth altogether. We're fortune seekers from the void. Why don't we tell you where on Footfall Station, you know Footfall, the only shipyard and the best market in all the Coronis Expanse? Yes, so where on Footfall you can find some very serious business-minded people, and how you can get yourself a very special discount from them on some very special goods. This reeks of heresy. What kind of very serious people? The most serious kind, your nobleness. Have you heard about the Fellowship of the Void? It's the largest pirate alliance in the Expanse. There's no leader, of course, but there are some terribly serious captains who decided that cutting each other's throats over loot was, what do you call it? Counterproductive. But cutting throats together, now that's anti-counterproductive. And well, their joint efforts leave them with an excess of spoils, so they need to dispose of it somehow. And I, your nobleness, just happen to know someone who handles such kinds of dealings on behalf of those very serious people. Yeah, this reeks of heresy. Consider your quest denied. Now die. I'm really glad that there wasn't an actual battle there and it just kind of like did it, because what else is going to happen there? But no, that was, they were definitely talking about like Xenotech or something, right? Must be. Definitely. All right. Report heresy to your commissar. These little details, man, really bring the world to life. But let's take a look at the loot over here and see what else is going on this prison planet. A bunch of cargo, fair enough. And then we've got a shotgun here. Decent bit of damage on that. And a weighty axe. Yeah, this sounds good to me. Let's take a look at these axes, though. Are you better than the one I'm wielding right now? I have a well-maintained axe versus the weighty axe. Similar damage, much more penetration. No special properties, same types of attacks. I mean, yeah, let's take the weighty axe then. More pen makes more sense. Otherwise, we got the shotgun. Do I want to give that to anybody? I don't really think so. This is all melee equipment. You know what? Let's pop a shotgun over here, just in case we find ourselves in a position where using a shotgun with a scatter makes more sense wherever Abelard ends up in melee. Yeah, sure. Sounds good. All good. What else is going on over here? A bunch of loot to pick up, a bunch of auto pistols and knives. Move that all to cargo. Thank you very much. What else have we got? Anything? Ooh, something. Alright, so there's a door to open, and there's our exit, I think, to our next spot, right? Somewhere over here? Yeah, that's to the main level. Alright, so let's deal with this first and see what that main level access is. Plus 25%, this should be an easy success. Because Argenta's at, what, 60 demolition, right? Plus 25 takes us right up. Yeah, 60. That takes us up to 85% success chance. Come on. Beauty. Nice and easy. What's in here? Another exit to the main level. Ooh, curious. There's our successful awareness check from Bahador. What's going on over here? Some cargo. We got some medikits and some stim. Sure, this sounds good. Check what's in here. Ooh. Ooh, hello. So either a sanctioned or unsanctioned psyker can use this. This is a diviner's staff. And this gives a different set of abilities. This is really cool. I like this. So in the alpha, Idira's lightning strike, or lightning arc, sorry, came from her psychic abilities, like her having leveled up appropriately. Here now, I'm sure that'll eventually be available to her. Like if we take a look at her doctrines, I imagine somewhere down the line we'll have access to various abilities as a psyker. Unsanctioned psyker. Divination, there we go, perfect plan, unnatural luck. Maybe it's biomancy or something, and she's just set up differently. Either way, previously it was coming from her skills and talents and all that. Now her lightning arc is coming from her psychic staff, which is interesting because we can swap her abilities in and out. With Diviner's staff, does same amount of damage, but we have Consign as an ability instead, and the wielder of the staff gets Consign and its Heroic Act and Desperate Measures versions. Now what is that? Let's pop that over here. I just want to... How do I... Oh, right, I see. Info. Consign. What do you actually do? You won't tell me. Alright, very well. Not going to take a risk there. Let's keep the pistol on here, but I'll look that up afterwards. Don't want to delay us any further. Let's go ahead and move to the main level and see what else is going on over here. Let's go for it. I'm liking some of these changes I'm seeing. In fact, I'm liking... almost all of them. I'm not liking this though. Holy crap. Ooh. What is... Oh, that's just a pipe. I was like, is this like some Doc Ock stuff going on? No, it's just a pipe. So we can build the bridge over here now. Get this connection going. I see what's going on. Yeah, beauty. So we must have taken like a gate or something, or Sure. Done something. Let's move on. The music as well, by the way, is just beautiful stuff in this game. Every track has been a banger. There's a vein. Doesn't seem to be danger. Let's see what's going on. My assumptions were way off, and I love it. Lord von Valancius, my greetings. May the light of the eternal Terra shine forevermore. The young man before you offers an impeccably courteous bow. He then straightens his back and looks you in the eye, not as a show of defiance, but with cool confidence. It is a gaze with which one graces an equal. Yvain Winterscale, younger son of Caligos Winterscale, at your service. Excuse me, we are not equals. I am above you. Just want to be clear here. I could greet him with decorum. Lord Bahadur von Valancius, I am pleased to make your acquaintance. I could nod curtly at your service. Untrue. Or we can dispense with the formalities. There are more important matters at present. No. Let's be polite. I'm new at this post, so let's start off on the right foot. As am I. Yvain's voice is soft and immaculately polite. Please accept my apologies for the slight breach of etiquette. Here and now is neither the best place nor time for protracted ceremony. Do you not wish to inquire why I now stand at the head of my house and not Theodora? Yeah, kind of curious that he's not curious. Is there anything you can tell me about the Navis number of the Tay Station, or let us discuss the matter at hand? You're here to end the riot, are you not? Okay, first of all, yeah. Do you not wish to inquire why I now stand at the head of my house and not Theodora? A short-lived smile flashes across Yvain's face. I gather more than a few people have already posed you that question, or perhaps you expect to be accosted by such queries in the future. Honestly, I did not ask because I was afraid of being obtrusive and tactless, but to tell the truth, I'm dying to know. Your restraint is warranted. I have no desire to speak of it at this time. Just, don't want to say she's dead. Don't want to confirm that she's dead, not to our enemies. As you wish, your lordship. The young man bows his head politely. Let us discuss the matter at hand. You're here to end the riot, are you not? Yvain's expression is grave. Indeed. It is a personal matter, if you will, and not simply because this incident occurred in a system that belongs to my father. The prison warden, and he used to be a close friend of mine, once. I want to give him a chance to come to his senses, lay down his weapons, and stop this senseless uprising. The warden is clearly not of sound mind. At one point, he was trying to manage the inmates by offering incentives and even days of rest. What utter madness. Yeah. The warden is clearly not of sound mind. He performed inhumane experiments on prisoners, acts of sheer brutality, also, yeah. Rebelling against lawful authority is heresy, extending clemency to a heretic. Are you in your right mind? The desire to help a friend is a noble one, or if your diplomacy truly can stop the riot, it's worth a try. The fewer deaths there are, the better. No. The warden is clearly not of sound mind. Days of rest, utter madness. Incentives and leisure, you say? That sounds like the Anne I know. For as long as I have known him, Anne has always been a thinker, a dreamer even. He would dig up these ancient books studying societal models and theories. He was obsessed with ideals. There are priests within the ecclesiarchy who would call it heresy to view the society of the Imperium as anything but perfect. However, I believe that Anne only wanted what he thought was best. I only wish I knew where that road had taken him. To heresy. It starts with heresy and it ends with heresy. The Imperium is perfect. You hear Adira scoffing. Yeah. I've known a few dreamers like that myself. They always want what's best, but somehow it always ends in heresy. There was this big shot on our planet who was deeply fond of dental hygiene. To spare his people from pain, he goes about pulling out all their rotten teeth. But he gets slightly carried away and starts pulling healthy ones too, sometimes along with the jaw. Preventative care, he calls it. So a mob of toothless servants ends up tearing his kindly head clean off. It was preventative too, you see. That little noggin of his was rotten through and through. It's an interesting character. Okay, well, rebelling against lawful authority is heresy. Extending clemency to a heretic. Are you in your right mind? He lowers his head stubbornly. He is my friend, and my father's vassal. I do not deny his guilt, but I intend to give him the chance to atone for it. Well, where is Warden Casteglia now? He's up ahead somewhere, and further below. We exchanged a few words over the Vox, and he said he would meet me in the quarry behind the prison building. A strange choice for negotiations, but those were his conditions. Oh, man. Can I at all dissuade you from this escapade of yours? You cannot. Very well. In that case, I shall accompany you. I must admit, I do appreciate your company. This prison is giving me a strong sense of unease, but the lift cannot support both our parties. If you're going ahead, wait for us in the quarry. We will follow shortly. Oh, that reeks of an ambush, man. That reeks of an ambush. Either way, I want to accompany them because I want to see what goes down. I want to see this conversation firsthand. If Yvain is at all forgiving of a heretic who decides to remain heretical, then Yvain must go. And that's why I must be present to pass that final judgment. But now I feel like I'm going to get ambushed. Definitely at the bottom, but potentially from both sides. We won't know until next time. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you've enjoyed this series thus far. If you'd like to see Rogue Trader make a comeback on the channel after the next episode of this mini-series, let me know in the comments down below. Hit that like button as well. Just gives me a good idea of what people want to see on the channel and how I should go about approaching things with regards to what I cover. With that said, as always, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time. Cheers.